Here are 7 habits that will help any marriage to cultivate quality relationships. 1. See your marriage as a gift from God. The more you see your marriage as a worthwhile asset and a gift from God, the more positively you will feel about your marriage relationship. Since your brain is wired to believe what you tell it, change your self-talk and start telling yourself that you have a great marriage. If you do this regularly, you and your spouse will soon begin to believe it and experience it. The Bible is correct when it says, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Mark 9 verse 23, NKJV. 2. Pray regularly for your marriage and your spouse. Because God created marriage, it is essential to keep Him at the center of your relationship. Use your faith on purpose by asking God for patience and the desire to be understanding and kind to your mate. If you believe God sees everything and knows everything, then you will want to be mindful of what you say or do to your spouse. This is the reason. Ellen White states in The Adventist Home, and as your love for God increases, your love for each other will grow deeper and stronger. Page 106.1. Therefore, your prayer should be for God to do for your marriage exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Ephesians 3 verse 20, NKJV. 3. Learn and practice effective communication skills. Most humans learn to communicate from birth. Yet most people have developed flawed and defective ways of communicating. Husbands and wives bring those communication patterns, good and bad, into their marriage. This is the reason each partner needs to be willing to make alterations in their relational and communication styles to improve the quality of their marriage relationship. If couples took the time to genuinely listen to each other and see things from the other's point of view, many concerns would be resolved. The wise biblical counsel in James 1 verse 19 says, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." ESV. 4. Find out what your spouse likes and keep doing it. Find out what your spouse doesn't like and quit doing it. Before marriage, couples take great pride in being their best selves. They are willing to do anything to make the other person happy. After the wedding and honeymoon, though, just like people are committed to returning a faithful tithe and giving a generous offering, they can recognize their marriage as being responsible for reflecting the image of God to the world. God first. 20 Many couples tend to quit doing special things for each other and begin to drift apart. If couples employed the golden rule, so whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, Matthew 7 verse 12, ESV, their marriage relationship would grow and fill them with contentment and God's joy. 5. Forgive often. In marriage, couples will inevitably hurt each other. We are not necessarily talking about abuse of any kind, although that is also a possibility, but about the realities embedded in imperfect human relationships. Without ever meaning to hurt the other, partners often say or do things that do. This is the reason you must learn to forgive. Forgiving someone who has harmed you is the hardest part of loving, and yet there is no true love without forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't mean becoming a doormat or releasing the other person from responsibility. Still, forgiving helps to begin the process of healing from your hurt and from the need to punish the other person. Forgiveness also helps to narrow the gap that has developed in the relationship. Of course, you can only learn to forgive when you are under the lordship of Jesus Christ, who said, "And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors." Matthew 6 verse 12, NKJV. 6. Learn to laugh. The ancient adage, "Laughter is good medicine," is still true today. To be sure, medical research suggests laughter has physiological and neurological benefits. Laughter helps to reduce stress, stimulates the immune system, reduces blood pressure, bonds couples together, and keeps the relationship fresh. Every married couple needs to find things to laugh about, and should stop stressing about the small stuff. Proverbs 17 verse 22 reminds us, "A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones." NKJV. 7. Make emotional deposits. Relationships, especially marriage, work like a bank account. When you do or say nice things to each other, you make emotional deposits in each other's emotional bank account. However, when you hurt each other or don't keep promises, you make emotional withdrawals. The more money we deposit in our bank accounts, the more money we have. The more withdrawals we make, the less money we have. If we make more emotional withdrawals than emotional deposits in our spouse's emotional bank account, we end up bankrupt. So, determine today to be intentional about making emotional deposits in your spouse's emotional bank account. After all, the Bible says in Colossians 3 verse 14, "But above all these things put on love, which is the bond of perfection." NKJV. When you are faithful in your stewardship, God opens the windows of heaven and pours out abundant blessings. When you are patient, kind, faithful, and gentle with each other in marriage, God's blessings overflow not only in your homes, but in the homes of neighbors, relatives, and friends. Purpose in your heart to begin practicing these 7 habits in your marriage today.